Hey folks, and welcome back to another episode of Straight Talk Whiskey. I'm Nick here with you as always. Thanks for tuning in for episode number 87. Now today what we've got for you is Slane Irish Whiskey. It's been talked about amongst the online groups and different blogs and such, but it is Brown-Forman's new venture into Irish whiskey. So I just want you to keep in the back of your mind during this review that when we talk about Brown-Forman, we're talking about a company that's produced, what do they make? Jack Daniels? Sound familiar to most people? Woodford Reserve, Old Forester, things associated with high quality, high revenue, and just global brand recognition of those brands, right? Maybe not Brown-Forman, but certainly their labels are known. So, we have Slane Irish Whiskey. It is not Slane Castle Irish Whiskey. That is a very different thing. I don't have a bottle of that, and I wish I did. So, let's just go through the bottle itself, the provenance, and what they got going for, the marketing, all that sort of thing before we get into the whiskey. So, first off, we've got something that's similar. This is very similar to what other traditionally American whiskeys have done, and this looks very similar to Bulleit's labeling, where they got this little pattern here on the label that makes it seem like they're going to give you a lot of information about the whiskey. Hopefully a higher proof, the type of barrels it was matured in, that sort of thing. But that's not what you get on here. All you get is the name, 750 milliliter bottle, 40% ABV. We've got resides on the banks of the River Boyne. Resides on the banks of the River Boyne, not distilled there yet. I believe they started work in 2015, so being late in 2017, they are not quite there in producing their own spirit yet. Not even sure if they're done with the distillery, so I can't tell exactly when their own spirit will be there. But since Slane Castle Irish Whiskey, I believe, was a product of Cooley, I'm thinking that this may be a product or have some components made up from that. I'm not entirely sure. But the big thing they want to get across here is the triple cask, as if that were the biggest thing in the world. So, take note. There's 3 different types of casks in which this was matured. The first is Virgin American Oak. The second is Seasoned American Oak. And third is what previously held Oloroso Sherry. Okay? First one is going to be important that I mentioned. We got this little thing here, which is great. It's got the label on it. It's got some tasting notes if you're interested in that. A little bit of history, but whatever, that's wonderful. Great. On the back, just got a little story there behind it. The government warning: if you're pregnant, don't drink it. Right? Don't gotta worry about that, thankfully. So anyway, that sort of goes over the bottle and what we've got here in the packaging. One thing that's interesting is this color of the whiskey. It's sort of this honeycomb color to it, which is okay. You can't really tell about coloring or anything like that. There certainly isn't anything on the bottle to say that it is or isn't created with or without caramel coloring. But one of the things you'll notice is the color of the bottle itself. It's a darker bottle. Usually when there's a darker bottle, that means they're trying to hide the fact that the spirit is a little bit lighter than most average consumers are used to seeing, predominantly in Scotch, in bourbon, right? Because you see the really sort of reddish ambers, copper brown, golden browns, that sort of thing when you've got a clearer bottle. But something like this, you can attribute it to, and just do a side-by-side. Ardbeg Dark Cove, which is absolutely delicious, and I just realized this was here, and I'm going to have some of this afterwards. So, yeah. Thank thanks for being a part of that. So anyway, this is not a green tint. This is pretty dark, and I can't even see it. A black or brown bottle, and the Ardbeg is green. But anyway, the spirit inside the Ardbeg is definitely a lot lighter than some of your entry-level scotches that a lot of people are buying. So, usually means there's no caramel coloring to it, which is nice. Not really the purpose here. Otherwise, they would have said it on the bottle, I would think. That's not where they went for it. So let's go in for the nose. Now on the nose, at first pass, you do get a traditional Irish whiskey aroma out of it. And that meaning you're getting a really soft, malty notes, vanilla, heather, green grass, a little bit of honey in there, some confectionery sugar I'm getting on the nose, a little bit of orchard fruits, some strawberries, a little bit of green apple, and a slight pepperiness to it to sort of round that all out. Now, again, let's go back and look at our notes. This is not something that is produced at the Slane distillery yet, okay? This is not something that's made in-house as of yet. That's still got a couple of years coming. I did see, however, in doing a little bit of research on this, sort of the hopes and goals, I guess, of where Brown-Forman and the other investors into this project want to go. And I did see that they want to be producing grain, they want to be producing a single pot still, malted barley, and I even saw malted oats in there, which was interesting. Something that was definitely done in Ireland's past, but has sort of been lost up until recently with people who are experimenting with that. And also, traditionally, the grain whiskey is made with corn or maize. And I believe what they're trying to do is produce that grain with barley. All of that sounds wonderful and not innovative, but definitely for this present state and time, it's innovative. It's what we want to see as whiskey enthusiasts. But again, that's not this. It's not what's in this glass, and it's not this bottle, the current moment in time. Okay? I just really want to hammer that point home. So, let's go in for the taste. Now, after the aroma, where you're getting some traditional Irish whiskey aromas out of it, and you take a sip of this, it's like somebody has just ripped the taste buds right out of your mouth. Let's just be honest. Because what you seem to get is all your flavors standing on the edge of a diving board and just jumping right off before you even have a chance to understand what it is. Right. So it's really hard to pin down what to taste, because the fruity notes that we got on the nose, the malted barley, the confectionery sugar, fresh baked bread, honey, all of those things just seem so fleeting, and they're really only what you can grab from the tip of your tongue, and then once you swallow it and try to, move your tongue around to get some more flavor out of it, it's just gone. There's nothing there. It's just spit, basically. The first time I tasted this, I had already seen some reviews, and people were really positive about it. They were saying that it had these really rich notes of cinnamon and heather and fresh green grass and lemon and all of these fun, fancy things. The baked apple and all that sort of thing. And then when I tasted it for the first time, I was dumbfounded. I was thinking back to a couple of hours ago as to what I had eaten that day, to think that, well, maybe I ate or drank something that was really overtly powerful. But I make a point to really cleanse the palate before I do these reviews, or before I taste a whiskey for the first time, so I can really get the full experience. And there was nothing that I had had that day that would have thrown it off by that point. And it's really interesting that with such a relatively plentiful notes and aromas there, that there's just a lot of questions and just this fleeting nothingness about the taste. Especially when you look to who owns, to the whole Brown-Forman company being involved in it, and the other players that are also involved in it, big names. And you just, at least I just wonder where the hell the flavor is. And I'll probably get this video flagged for saying hell, because that's a new thing YouTube does, by the way. But anyway, I think if you look back to the bottle, the thing that they're primarily want to get across to you, which is on the front and back, is this triple casked method. So the version seasoned in sherry barrels. And it says on the back, this innovative recipe of unique maturation creates an exceptional Irish whiskey with smooth and robust flavor. Well, if you've got a bunch of robust flavors and you flatten them with a steamroller to make them smooth, you're not going to have much flavor left. I don't think you can have both smooth and robust flavors at the same time, unless you have one or two things that dominates that, sort of like fruitier notes. We can't have fruity and something that contrasts that, like peppery, and still have it be smooth. I'm tired of the word smooth in advertising and marketing for whiskey, because it's like, if you say smooth, then people are gonna, grab it off the shelf and throw it in their shopping cart. Automatically, if you say smooth, there you go. And if you say the word triple cask method, somehow triple is this new thing in Irish whiskey that just has everybody going wild. We already know that most Irish whiskeys are triple distilled. Wonderful. It's really nothing that exceptional. It's been done for a while. So, anyway, getting off on a little tangent. Triple cask, where I think they went wrong with this is the virgin American oak. I honestly do. Because when you taste this, which I will again, just to make sure I'm not going crazy, there's sort of this just woody note to it, in the sense that you would actually get from licking a piece of wood. As weird and hilarious as that seems, if you've ever inadvertently tasted a piece of wood, or if something that's not so weird, if you've had a popsicle on a stick, right? And you get to the end of it, and your, kids, they'll try to get every last little bit of sugar that's off that thing, get them on their sugar rush and, keep their levels up. So, you're sitting there getting the rest of that, and eventually you'll get to a point where you're just licking this piece of wood. That's basically what I'm tasting in this whiskey, with a really valiant, not even valiant, sorry, we can't call it that, but, a struggling attempt for these other flavors to come in and join in the sensory experience. But they're not coming to the table, folks. I know some people had commented and said that they want some scores with this, and I said in a few videos ago that I don't really do scores. A lot of it's subjective and that sort of thing, and there's no real place to take it. Some people are going to be appalled that something was giving a score like that, or they'll think that it should be a higher score. So anyway, but I'll give a score. All right, so this I would give as an Irish whiskey where it's at today in the marketplace, comparing it to other things, as I do when I score things that are in sort of the same category, in this case a blend, is 40? Is 40 good? Is 50 better for people? We'll go 45. I'll give this a 45 because it feels like you're shooting yourself with a 45 after you fork over the money to buy this and realize that your money didn't go too far. And I don't even know how much I've gone into this bottle already. Not that I could see in this bottle thus far, but I've probably gone a third of the way through it, just wondering if it needed some air to open up. And I think it'll be best when there's absolutely nothing but air in it, to tell you the truth. But anyway, that's it for episode number 87, I believe. And we'll see you again next week, hopefully with something a little bit more flavorful. If you've tasted this before, or you're thinking about it, or you've had it at a bar or something like that, please give me your thoughts. I would love to hear your honest opinion. Don't try to sugarcoat it. Don't try to taste things that aren't there just to have an argument. But, give me your honest feedback. I always love hearing that. So, until next week, if you're going to drink responsibly, and we'll see you next time.